We have a storm at the end of this film at the climax that is unlike anything we've ever created here at Disney. And so that was absolutely jaw-dropping, and I don't know if we could have done that before.
Hi guys,
Hello.
how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Great, thank you for having the time to talk to us. Well, first of all, I love Moana. I mean, seriously, who doesn't love Moana? And as filmmakers, I kind of wonder because it was such a huge hit. I mean, it really went so well. And what was it like to actually step into, a sequel like Moana 2, knowing that it was such a huge hit the first time, right?
Yeah, we were just excited. We loved the character and the story. We loved the first film. David and I worked on the first film. Dana's been writing the live action Moana. We love Moana. So that was very easy and very exciting once the opportunity came to continue her story. We always felt like there was a lot more stories to be told with her, and she's an incredible character. So we wanted just to follow her on her next journey.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that because there are so many beautiful things about Moana. Like you have the songs, you have the location, the characters, and I mean everything is so beautiful. So what do you love the most about this world and all of these characters?
Love the most? I didn't know we were gonna have the hard-hitting question. Goodness, there's a lot to love. I think Moana's a given. I love Moana, but I've really fallen in love with all of our new characters. There's one in particular, Matangi, who's new to this world and only the second demigod that Moana's ever met, who brings a totally different energy than Maui to the movie and, really pushes her in a direction no one's pushed her before. And so I've fallen in love with her and her song. She's played by an incredible actress named Afimai Fraser. And so I love her for that, but also like every day I love a different piece. So my answer will be totally different tomorrow.
How about you guys?
I mean, the world itself is so beautiful and so just inviting, like just the water itself.
Yeah.
The way our artists here are able to capture the beauty of that. And I love, in this continuing story, we are going to take Moana to new seas, to new locations. And in every one of those, there is so much detail and excitement. And one of my favorite new things are mud skippers. I think we found an animal that might even be dumber than Hey Hey.
Yeah, and I'll say for me, it's going back to the relationship between Moana and Maui. I think they're so fun and funny together. Like that, the fact that Moana can take on this demigod, that's like truly superhuman, Maui. It's actually so fun, and we get to actually take the relationship and push it a lot further this time. Because they are such good friends and they care about each other. They still have a bunch of fun together, but we really take the relationship, and it's the core thing that actually towards the end of the film really we take it to places I don't think we've ever actually gone with these characters before, and I think it's really something I think the audiences will be surprised by.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I was going to ask you guys about the friendship with Maui because it really goes to a different level. We never saw them like this before, and this is something really new to explore. So I really like that.
Yeah.
So talking about animation, because in these last years there has been evolvements in animation, and actually seeing the movie, I even saw that in so many details, like the water and the hair in Moana. Like there were so like pretty new details that I really enjoyed. So I was going to ask you about the new additions in terms of animation. What can you guys tell us?
I think with technology, it's really about the artists behind that technology. And we had so many of the artists from the first film work on this, but then added so many other artists. And each one of them brings like their own expertise and skill. And so my favorite thing is just to see how they've elevated. And from the first film to this one, the one big difference is the level of complexity, the amount of characters, the amount of complex elements. We have a storm at the end of this film at the climax that is unlike anything we've ever created here at Disney. And so that was absolutely jaw-dropping, and I don't know if we could have done that before.
And well, you got this new villain, like antagonist, we might say. How did you find this this ideal antagonist to actually have this contrast with Moana?
Well, we really just leaned in on culture and the foundation of the first film. In the first film, she goes up against a lava monster, which was pretty epic. First of all, we're like, well, we got to be better than that. And we got to put her through something where the stakes are higher, the obstacle is bigger. And so we leaned into that, and we leaned into this idea that, culturally in the Pacific, we're all very connected to nature. And so it felt natural that the next obstacle that she would go up against would be a storm cursed by the god of storms. And so we started to get really excited about that, and what that could look like. But in creating that, part of what's exciting about that is that Moana has a new crew on this time.
Right.
So there's other people on the canoe with her. There's there's a farmer, an engineer, a storyteller, a kakamora, pua, hey. Like there's a lot responsible.
Right.
As you go into a hurricane, and so it was like twofold. Like, what is the biggest, most dangerous obstacle that you could go up against when you're out in the middle of the ocean on a canoe with a bunch of vulnerable humans? And it felt like Giant Storm fit the bill, and
right.
It's awesome. I'm very excited for everyone to see it.
I know. And well, and finally, to wrap up, because I could hear some of the new songs, which are amazing. And I kind of want to talk about that in terms of the storytelling, because I always wondered, how do you actually manage to, this is a great moment for a song. I mean, how do you actually take everything together and just make it all work?
Yeah, well, first of all, you hire incredibly talented songwriters, and Emily Bear and Abigail Barlow fit the bill there. And they really could connect with what Moana was going through. They're a similar age, and they had this incredible success with their unofficial Bridgerton musical. And so they really could sort of speak to where she was at in her own life. But really, I think what it is that, Moana, basically in the first film, she sang that incredible song, I am Moana, and she knew exactly who she was. But as we grow up, we all understand that we're going to find out more about who it is to be ourselves, and that there's more to us than maybe we even knew. And so each one of those things are actually like a very, we always look for singable moments, and that's a singable thing to say that you're like, oh, wow, I'm going to be challenged more than I ever thought that I was, even though I was so sure of who I was. And so those kind of things, once you know what those are, then they can go off and they can write an incredible song. And they've done that time and again on this film. I can't wait for everyone to hear the entire album. It's absolutely spectacular. And I have to also add in Opataya Hawaii and Mark Mancina as the other musical elements to this 4-part group that have created an incredible soundscape for Moana 2.
Completely. Wow. Thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you.
I love the movie, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to see it on the big screen.
Wonderful.
Bye. Thank you
you.
so much, guys. Ciao.
Bye.